Hi, everyone. It's Denise from Dobby Books. I'm glad to be seeing you again today. And since it's Tag Tuesday, I am going to do the tag called Shelf Respect. I was tagged by Jim at Great Books, Big Ideas. And the original tag was created by Richard History Lit. So let's get started with this. Question number one: how do you organize your books on the shelves? Um, I tried to find, I think my main objective was chronological, and that's how it began. And then after that, it just became a regular average type of organization. So I have one room basically where almost all of my books live. And that's been my goal. If I could just keep all the books I own in one room, that would be good. Of course, we know as book lovers that doesn't always happen. Sometimes we have cookbooks in the kitchen, for example. Um, Maybe we have some coffee table books, but I just didn't want to have bookshelves all over the house. So this is how we went. So I have shelves that I'm looking at over here, right? And these were the original bookshelves, and these were all the history ones right here, over here. So this is um, over here is the first one, and that is like ancient Greece in chronological order, ancient Rome. Then we work to medieval, um, early Renaissance, and then late Renaissance, early modern, all the way down to modern. And then we went up to this shelf here. This is continuing to be modern, but because it's now phasing into like 20th century, I stopped, because then anything after that, it's just going to be categorized in the different categories. And then down here is my collection of US history. That's still growing. But all this is still, this here on this side here was like the fictions that was chronological. It stops right there. Here we have US history. Down here, we continue to have US history, but I also have included down here Latin American history, because that's American history too. And then here I have books with historical themes, um, such as Silk Roads, Dominion, the Third Reich, things like that. And that continues on this bottom shelf. And then in the shelves behind me, I don't know if you can see them, I have that top shelf is that's educational theory. Below that is literary criticism and literary theory, and below that, I'm looking at it. That looks like an odds. So I have the remainder of maybe some literary criticism, and then over to the other side are like Penguin books about other stuff. And then I know below that, I hope you can see it, these two shelves here, those are part of my Catholic collection. And then on this top shelf behind me, that's fiction by author. So is that bottom shelf, and so is that third shelf. Once we start working our way to these other shelves, those are biography and memoir, and the bottom shelf is like political and contemporary social issues. And then over here, I have the collections. So at the very top, you're going to notice some books there. The first ones are the um, Jane Austen annotated editions. Next to that, I have special editions, like signed by the author, first editions, first prints, etc. And then below that, I just have the Norton anthologies, the Cambridge reference books. That's bottom. Second shelf is my Shakespeare collection. Below that is the Christopher Paolini collection, Stephen King collection, early books. Below that is Spanish reference and Italian. And below that is more of the Catholic collection. And then if we move over this way, those are my barricaded bookshelf window collection. And those two bookshelves on this end here, those are oversized books, art books, some history books, some graphic, and just oversized. And I put on the bottom shelf all my mother's books that that were in Spanish. They're all there, which I plan to read little by little. This here is the Bible collection. So that top shelf is Catholic collection, and the bottom shelf is the Protestant collection. And that's the majority of my books. And in front of me, I have the Looky No Touchies. And these are the Folio Society books, most of them, some from the Imaginarium. These are all very special. Some are signed by author and illustrator, some are not, but these are special edition books. And I also have the Harry Potter right there. That's all. It's crooked, so I apologize for that. Let me see if I can do this. Does that help? That's the Harry Potter collection. 3 shelves. Encased 3 shelves. And this is a pretty big collection. So this is what I've tried to place in one room. If I could keep this all in one room. You see my lovely little room. This is my little library here. Almost all my books are here. Almost all my books are here. And I just tried to find some sort of order so that if I walked in the room, it would make sense to me. I can't imagine having history books out of order. But I'm kind of anal about that type of thing. In the room across from me, I have all the books for children. And with the exception of collections, like let's say Harry Potter collection or the other author collections, I can't think of them right off the bat. All the other books are arranged by author. Downstairs, I have some cookbooks, you know, in the kitchen and on my my microwave stand has 2 shelves underneath it. It's on the bottom shelf. And I just remembered now that I have stacks of books in that room across from me, the guest room, that I don't have shelves for. And they are by theme. So I've organized them by theme, whether I set them up vertically or horizontally. I need to find a place for them. But I'm trying to find a place in this room to put them. But that might not be possible. But that's how I organize my books. Chronologically, if they're historical books, by theme, whatever category they're in, or if it's simply fiction, then I organize it by author. Next question. Have you ever merged your collection with your significant other? My husband is not really a reader like I am, like picking up a book and enjoying books. He'll read what's necessary for everyday life, but I don't consider that someone being a reader, right? He does have some graphic novels. I've had a couple in my collection. He inherited an extra bookshelf for me that I got rid of because it doesn't match these bookshelves here. And if he collected all his books that he has here in the house, they might fill just the one shelf. So he really doesn't need to blend his in with mine. I would be okay with him saying, can you put a couple of my books in your collection? Yes, but not much more than that. I think I'm kind of turfy when it comes to my books. Yeah, because, you know, I think if he were as much of a reader as me, I doubt he would mix his books in with mine anyway. Because as a reader, I know I can speak for myself, but I wouldn't be surprised if other readers felt the same way. When it comes to my books, I organize them in a way that makes sense to me, right? That pleases me. And if my husband were as an avid reader as myself, I think he would have the same mindset. And little to none of our books would really ever mingle. So if he wanted a few and added them to mine, yeah, but that's it. No more than a handful. Number 3, do you write your name and or the price paid in your books? No. No. I don't need to. I don't feel the need to do that. I know what I notice I'm doing now is when I start a book, I put the date that I started it, and then I put the date that I finished it in the book itself somewhere. and I write it in pencil. So if I ever needed to, I can erase it. And I do that because when I go back and I read a book, I like to see, oh, look, I first picked this up in 2003. Like the Iliad and the Odyssey, I reread those and I put the dates that I start them every time. And it's just really neat to see myself, to see that, you know, it's like, oh, wow, I remember, you know, where I was then and whatever. So that's all I do. Number 4, do you keep all of the books you've read or only the most cherished? I don't keep all the books I've read. I just keep the ones I really liked. And some of the books I've read are special edition books, although not all of them. Special editions are always kept. Cherished books, yes. Like my mother's books in Spanish, I purchased, if not all, I purchased the vast majority of those for her while she was living here. And to keep her busy, she did enjoy reading very much. I wouldn't get rid of those. I don't think I'd get rid of those. Maybe if I had a cousin who wanted to borrow the book, maybe I'd give a couple away, but it would be with family. But those were Mom's books, so I'm not giving those away. At least I can tell you that now. They're not special editions. They're just very nice hardbound or paperback books. But she read them, so I won't be getting rid of those. Next one. Number 5, does the style and quality of your bookshelves and or cases matter? Yeah. I need some sort of matchingness to them. If you notice the bookshelves behind me, they match, except for this section here. These are 2 older bookshelves. These are the ones that I had, oh gosh, when I first came back to California, I got these 2. I didn't have a lot of money. But these here, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these are matching sets that I got later on. I like matching sets. They don't have to be absolutely identical. If I can't really afford to get a full matching set, I will get others from here and there, but they have to have, for the most part, something that matches. The color, the height, the width, something about it has to match. The ones in front of my window that's been barricaded, they're 2 different kinds of bookshelves, but like the one is a dark brown, but it has a red undertone. The other one is black, but they're very similar in style. They're the same height, and the colors are both dark. So that's close enough. And the bookshelves that I have for the girls, I have 1 white one and 1 brown one, but I wasn't really worried about that bookshelf. It's for the girls. And kids can be a little rough or a little destructive. Those are strong bookshelves. They'll last. I'll let the girls decide what they want to do with their own personal bookshelves. So I need some uniformity, some matchingness about it. And I want it to be sturdy. And that's about it. Oh, you know what I was thinking of? I forgot the name of this booktuber. My apologies, but he's had a booktube channel for the longest time. And he gives phenomenal reviews, and I will post his name up on here. He has a really neat set of bookshelves, and I think he got them from IKEA. And rather than being the standard long bookshelf, they're squares, a whole bunch of them. That looks really neat. I'm considering that. I just kind of wonder, could you fit as many books going across the same width as you would with this? That's the question I have on that. Maybe I could have one like that and one regular, one like that, one regular. I don't know, just to break the monotony. Okay, next one. Number 6. I have that. Number 6. Do you have any gripes or complaints about bookcase construction? Cheapness. I know some of us can't afford the higher end ones, like these ones that I got. These were, these definitely weren't higher end, but they're sturdy. So no, I don't think I really concern myself with no. I don't think I really formed an opinion on that. There isn't a certain style that I hate or that annoys me. I just see different styles, as different styles to suit different people. I hope I'm thinking about this along the right lines, I guess. Um, do you ever stack books horizontally? Yeah, you saw that on some of my bookshelves, and I do that when I run out of room on a shelf. I try not to stack them all the way to the very top because I like to see the books that are behind that. I've noticed on a couple of my shelves here that hasn't been possible. And I believe that book collectors will tell you you really should not stack your books horizontally like that because it can cause damage with the weight of the books on top. So what I guess I could recommend on that, when I do something like that, I will try to put the lighter books on top. So if it's let's say the hardbound on the bottom and then some lighter paperbacks on top, to try to compensate for that as much as I can. What it is. But yeah, I only do that horizontally when I'm out of room and I'm waiting to figure out where to put them. Yeah. What are your 5 favorite jackets or covers? I have a few in mind. Like this series here by Samantha Shannon. I think this is book 2. A Day, a Fallen Night. If you look at this, I'm trying to get there. It has like a shimmeriness to it. That's a beautiful book. I like that cover. And I purchased the book, quite frankly, for the cover and these end pages. And here's the first one, The Priory of the Orange Tree. It has this beautiful iridescence to it. That's a beautiful cover. And I would purchase the book. I'd be more likely to purchase the book, let's say, with a beautiful cover. I'd want to read up on the story, what it is about. But I have purchased, oh gosh, I have. The Folio Society has had some good. Neverworld has a fantastic book cover to it. That's why I purchased it. I haven't read Neverworld. I will read Neverworld. I don't think I'll read that copy. I'll read a paperback copy. Let me show you those. Hold on. This is the Folio Society Neverworld. And here's this. But if you flip it, now the other side that was upside down is right side up. And that's what I loved about this cover. And if you look at the slipcase, it's the same concept. Going down, or what? It was the same concept. The bird's on the back. But if you flip it around, that's why I got the book. This was unique. This was special. And when I put it back, I can't always remember which way to put it. But yeah, these are some cool book covers. I wonder if there's another one that I can see right offhand. Oh, yes, there is another one. This is another one by the Folio Society. And this is The Phantom of the Opera. Look at that cover. Vibrant, beautiful, pulsing with energy kind of cover. I had to get that. The next one. This is the book by Stephen King called Fairy Tale. This is the slipcover where it has the cutting in here. And here's the book itself. Like, this is more familiar to you. Then there's the back. But I purchased this particular edition because of the cover, the slip cover and the actual cover itself. That's cool. So yeah, I have some beautiful covers that I love. There's more, but that's all I'll show for now. What are your 5 most disliked jackets or covers and why? I don't know if I have any that I put under that category. I had one that was kind of confusing. And if you look at this cover, right? It looks, I don't know, it seemed kind of boring and it didn't apply to the situation. It was called Horror Store, and I thought, you know, what's this about? But that was the whole point. The cover reflects what the story is about. And if you look at the way Horror Store is spelled, you might guess what store it's incorporating into the story without saying. This cover kind of bothered me at first until I understood why they chose this particular cover. This is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix, and this book is put together like a catalog. So, but other than that, an ugly cover, plain covers. But I don't think I just don't remember any with ugly covers. And is there such a thing as too many books? Maybe. But yeah, I have to admit, in here, I know that the reality is, yeah, you can have too many books, you can have too much clothes, you can have too many shoes, you can have too many credit cards. Yeah, you can have too many books. And when I was watching Jim's tag on this topic, he brought up a book by Barry Schwartz, who's a psychologist, and the book's entitled The Paradox of Choice, and which basically says when you've given too many choices, it kind of freezes you up and then you can't make a decision. Just like we have so many channels available on TV now, and we never find anything to watch. You have lots of clothes, but you can't find anything to wear. That's just overload. And yeah, you can have books that basically start to take over the house. I can't imagine finding what I need there, but I am pretty sure that those people who are just diehard book lovers and book collectors, and their whole house is covered with books, they know exactly what part of the house and what pile, what stack, will even stack within the stack is a particular book. I don't want to go in that direction, but I can understand it, if that makes any sense. And I remember when I first came back to California after, oh gosh, I'd been living in PA for 13 years or so, and I decided to come back home to California. I was single again, grown children, you know, it was just me. I needed a place to live, and my parents needed someone to help them out because they were both in their 80s. Dad had been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and mom had some other pre-existing health issues, so she needed help, and it worked out. But I was living at that time in the smallest room in the house, and I was fine with that. I loved having a smaller room, and I had room for one of these bookshelves, just one, and I had to really be careful what I was going to put in those bookshelves. I had several boxes of books that I brought with me from PA. They remained in their boxes. And I only pulled the ones that I needed to have with me or that I wanted to have with me. And because I had limited space and limited funds at the time, I had to be careful what I bought. And I had developed a habit of regularly purging the shelves. And I would just do this like on a weekend, you know, after work and after school or whatever, when I had some freedom for the weekend, that's when I would like pull a book or two from the shelf and set it aside so that the next time I was going to make that run to the library sale, you know, on another Saturday or whatever, I could have some books to drop off. And I was very careful with everything. I was careful with my money. I was keeping a written budget and paying cash for a vast majority of the stuff that I purchased. I had to be careful. And that mindset, being aware, was good. It was really good. I can do that if I have to do that again. I've been actually leaning back in that direction after going crazy for a couple of years since I moved here, and I had, my life situation changed, and I had the money and I had the space. I took my books out of storage. I filled up my bookshelves, purchased more books. I had a lot of fun for a year and a half. And now I'm at the point where I have to stop and then turn around and reevaluate, what am I going to keep? What am I going to get rid of? Now I need to be more careful. I simply because I want to. I don't want to go crazy forever. That's not healthy. So, um, do I think right now I have too many books? I have a lot of books. Um, I have a lot of books. I haven't filled my house. Not that that has to be the criteria, but I don't think I have too many books right now in my life. I just have a lot of books, and I want to make sure that the current supply that I have is something that is good for me to keep right now. Um, so that's that answer. The next one. Oh, now I have to tag some other people. So I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now, but I'm going to sit down and really look through some people. There is one person I can think of right now, and that's Jess at Book Girl TV. Love Jess. I will tag Jess, unless she's already been tagged by somebody else. So you don't have to do it again, Jess. But others, I definitely want to include some others, and I'm going to put their names in the description box when I upload this video. And I had a good time doing this, everybody, and it was glad to. It's nice when I get to sit down and talk with all of you. So enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe and stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.